Hello and welcome to the Stay-at-Home Dad Gamers review of Sengoku Basara, Samurai Heroes for the PlayStation 3. As always, I'm late to the party, bringing you reviews of games you may have overlooked. Graphics. It's probably the first thing you notice in the game, therefore it's our first category. The graphics are good for this game. They aren't the most detailed you've ever seen, but the main characters are nicely animated and detailed. The grunt-type troops are obviously much lower quality, but the trade-off is having many on the screen at a time. I haven't had characters pop in like I have with a few of the Koei Warriors games, which is definitely a plus. The grunts still look fine, they're just not anywhere near as detailed as the main characters. One strange little thing I'd like to make a note of is the third-tier characters. They're not that important, but they have unique models. They don't move their mouths in their cutscenes. It's not a deal breaker, it just looks kinda odd and really just smacks of laziness. The character weapons look very fantastical and have some elemental effects on them that really look nice and unique. Also, the pre-rendered cutscenes look great. The water, fire, and dust effects are especially nice. While you're not going to watch them multiple times, really they are good to look at the first time you go through, because they do look really nice and the graphics are great on those. Graphic-wise, the stages each look different from each other. In the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games, most levels look similar, and it was really the landmarks that separate them. You know, like, oh, this is the level that has all the water. Not really in Sengoku Basara. Each level is unique and has its own personality. Sure, some maps are reused, it's true, but most of them, even the times that they are reused, they do something different with it to make it stand out. Also, I can assure you that the graphics look much better in HD and not the standard def that I have to record in. Sound. This covers things obviously like music, voices in the game, and sound effects. The voices in this game range from good to exceptional. Mitsunari is easily my favorite as he delivers the lines very well and makes you believe that he is insane. Tsuruhime is kind of annoying, but she's supposed to be bubbly so it works. And Magoichi, is average. I think mostly her lines are bad. Most of the other people do really good. And, I mean, it has Johnny Young Bosch. What's not to like? Music in this game is pretty good. It's not great. Nothing really sticks with you. Maybe Ieyasu's theme, because it's suitably dramatic. They set the mood pretty well for the stages. And the intro song, I think, is really good. But you're not really going to buy a soundtrack for this game. Maybe just get an MP3 of the intro, because it is pretty cool. Maybe it's just because I like that kind of music. Who knows? Playability. This covers things like battle systems, user interface, controls, that kind of thing. Since Sengoku Basara is Capcom's version of the Warriors style games, it plays very similar to them. You attack lots of grunts, build up massive combos, and kill thousands of enemies. The controls are pretty similar to Warriors games. The only thing is you get 4 special attacks that you can activate, and it's not exactly intuitive as to how to do these. I mean, there's triangle and then direction and triangle. It kind of makes sense, but it feels a little strange. Feels like it could have been done better. However, considering the previous game where you could have one special move mapped to triangle and you could just equip it as if it were a piece of equipment, this is much better to give access to more special moves to the player. Like other hack and slash games, you get your standard combo and special moves. Unlike Warriors games where the triangle or the Y attack, whichever, the charge attack will give you a different combo ender, this game isn't really like that. There's the standard string and then there's special moves. However, you can still string them together to kind of make your own combos and discover some nice little combinations. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit more mindless than a Koei game in that respect, but it's still very fun. So like Dynasty Warriors, you attack guys, get combos, and you build up a meter, which does your Basara attack, which is very similar to a Musou attack, where it's just a special attack, you're invincible during it, kills lots of guys, looks flashy, the standard fare. Of course, most of these look flashier than the Koei versions because it is a Capcom game, and Capcom is known for things like that. One thing I really like in Sengoku Basara over the Warriors games is the addition of hero time. It's another meter to fill, of course, but when you do, activating it slows down everything, sort of like bullet time from the Matrix. Activating your Basara attack in this state will not drain the hero time meter and make the move stronger. Doesn't really look different, but it's stronger. And every kill you get will increase the time that you can be in hero time. There are a few stages where it's almost possible to do the entire stage in hero time. It's really cool and really flashy and makes you feel just pretty awesome doing it. Also, your combo count doesn't go down, and you can get some crazy big numbers just doing hero time. The UI for this game's fine. I mean, you find all the pertinent information where you need it. Most of the menus make sense. The only really odd thing was finding out how many stages you've done in story mode and the path you've taken versus how many paths there are. It's under history, which makes sense, but it might not be the first place you look or the first thing you'd think of. Other than that, everything's fine, nothing really stands out, all the standard stuff is there. One nice thing I'd like to note is that doing 2-player will have both players share the map, so you don't each have a map eating up your precious screen, which really was something really annoying in the Koei games. It made playing 2-player a lot more busy than it had to be. Longevity covers game length, replays, basically how long are you going to be playing this thing. Well, as you can see here, there are 16 total characters that you can unlock throughout the whole game, which doesn't really seem like a lot when you consider comparable titles like Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors offer much more in the way of character selection. And it's kind of also disappointing that from the previous iterations of this game, the number of selectable characters has come down. And some of those characters are actually here, just not playable. With the maximum level of each character being 100 times 16 characters, that's a lot of levels. There are several things you can equip to make that go faster, because there is a trophy for getting them all maxed if you're into that kind of thing. There are 6 tiers of weapons, and each tier has 2 slightly different weapons in it. Each of those has a set damage range and up to 6 slots to equip various accessories to customize your character for the task at hand. The different weapon tiers can be found in the different difficulties, except for the bottom 2, which are special ones for beating the character's story mode 2 and 3 times respectively. That's a lot of weapons, and most tiers look a lot different from the others. Some of them look a lot different from the core weapon itself. The second to last tier is the joke weapons, which I actually really think are cool and inventive. In addition to all the weapons you can get in the game, there are a lot of accessories to make, many of which require some grinding. To make them, you'll need special items from each stage. There are also 100 different allies you can get in this game. Pretty much any named character you fight is recruitable, even the tiger. That's a lot of stuff to get. There are 38 different stages in the game. A few of them are different versions of another one, where you start at a different point of the map or have different enemies. A couple of the stages have similar goals, besides that all stages, the main goal is to capture all the bases and beat the boss. But while you might not enjoy doing all of them, very few are chores to do, and a few of them are actually really fun. As for actually replaying the story mode, each time you beat a character story, you get an exclusive item for them. To complete the set and get all the weapons you can get through this method, you have to beat each character's story 4 times. It might not be as bad as it sounds because of the multiple paths that most characters can take. Still, it is a lot of replayability, but most of it is forced. Miscellaneous. This touches upon things that weren't covered in the other sections, such as price of the game, achievements and trophies, bonuses or other little things in the game, any kind of online it has, DLC, things of that nature. When this game was released, it was already a budget title at $40. I know it's been on sale from anywhere from 10 to 15, and I think that even at 40 it was worth it, and less than 40, even more so. I played the game for over 200 hours, and my son has probably played it for that much as well. Granted, the last 100 hours were cleaning up the trophies, but it was still fun. Getting the platinum gives a great money to hour ratio. There is no online or DLC for this game. While there could have been, it really doesn't feel like it's missing. Getting all the trophies in this game for the platinum will take about 150 hours with a guide, so be prepared for the long haul. There's a good chunk of normal trophies for beating the game with the different characters, different difficulties, getting all the weapons, stuff like that. They also threw in a few that aren't standard, like winning a battle with a certain piece of equipment on, or doing the story with the default weapon and no accessories on the hardest difficulty. A particularly hard one is beating the whole story with killing less than 100 enemies. In a hack and slash game, that's crazy. I feel like it's a good mix of standard and things that you have to set up for in advance. All in all, actually a pretty good list. Lastly for this section, I'd like to mention the little things that I really like in this game that this average player probably won't find. If you taunt with Mitsunari's joke weapon, the flowers come out of the end of it. Masamune dashes faster when he's equipped with his joke weapon. Every one of Keiji's taunts gives him another swing during his next Basara attack. Little hidden stuff like that is really cool, and it makes you want to play it more to either find more or when you find them out. And definitely, it gets bonus points in my book for it. Fun. As the name suggests, how fun is this game to play? Are you going to enjoy your time? Ah, fun. Well, if you don't like the Warriors games, this isn't going to change your opinion. However, if you do enjoy the over-the-top style of Capcom games like Devil May Cry or the Marvel vs. Capcom series, you might want to give this a spin. It might pleasantly surprise you. I actually had fun the entire time I was playing this game, all 200 hours of it. It's really fun by yourself. It's even more fun two-player. If you have a friend to play this with and you like hack and slash games, I'd say pick this up on the cheap. It's well worth your money. That'll wrap it up for today, folks. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I can really do some damage when I want. If I keep this up, the country will... Oh! Hi, guys. Problem? Time to go! Why does this always happen to me?